Yeah. Hi, my name is Eva Straus. I'm a U.S. citizen, but I was born in Uruguay, South America, a wonderful country in the southern part of South America. I used to live in New York many years ago. Then I moved to California, and now I'm in Utah. When I lived in California, I used to work at several places, but amongst them at a very good and nice organization for mentally challenged people who were over 21 years old. And well, you can ask me about that, whatever you want. Whatever I know, I can answer.
So what did you do there? What kind of was your position?
Well, we worked in several groups. There were many clients, and they came in from about 8:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. They brought their meals, except some parties we had, or some days they cooked, or depending on their everyday classes or duties they had. Um, they were all over 21 years old, and some of them lived in homes, some of them lived with their parents.
And you so it was a kind of a like a school that they would go to every day to
Yes,
socialize and
to socialize, but during the day, only during the day. At night, they were brought in the morning and picked up by buses and delivered at every home wherever they lived.
and you wouldn't like change their diapers or anything. You
No,
would
no, no, no. All of them, almost all of them, did not depend on me. And almost all of them ate by themselves. No, they were not dependable on us.
So what you would do is like sometimes you would take them to lunch and sometimes you
We depending on each client, we had groups of 5 people each that were the most in each group, and boys and girls, or men, young adults, and every day we had a different work plan. Every day we would go out with them someplace, either to a mall, or we would go walking to the pier, or we would do something with them. Besides, they used to eat at school, and they had once a week, every group had cooking class, which I was not the teacher for that. They had somebody who taught them. Then they had gymnastics, they had music, they had several people coming in and helping out in different activities.
and when you would take them into public, how do you think the people around reacted to them?
Well, generally they reacted very well. Some of them even bought them ice cream or talked to them. They were very friendly to them, and I cannot complain about that. And they behaved in the streets very well.
That's good to hear that they were treated well. Was there a specific reason that you started working with the?
Well, when I came to California, I used to work at a store and at different places, and then I started volunteering at this place because I enjoyed working with mentally challenged people, and I like to help out. And so I started working there as a volunteer for maybe 2-3 times a week. And then they hired me, so I worked every day from Monday to Friday.
And you said you enjoyed working them. It kind of brought you
Oh,
happiness.
yes, it brought me happiness. It filled my life.
That's nice. That's kind of what I've been experiencing with Jill. Just she's very affectionate. I don't know, like would they hug you and would they?
Oh, they are very how do you say it?
Affectionate.
Affectionate. They would hug me, all of them. When they came off the bus, not only my group, all the other clients, they would hug me and they would tell me what they had done, and they would come running, some of them. That was really, really wonderful.
And so they're very open to express like how they're feeling, if they're angry or if they're.
They are very open, and in their own life they are happy. They are happy people, each one in their own way.
And so you said some of them lived with their families and some of them lived in homes?
Yes, some of them lived with their families, but don't forget that their ages were sometimes 58, or sometimes, well, in their 30s and their 40s and their 50s. We had a 60-year-old man too. So he lived in a home, but he had his parents because it was too difficult for his parents to take care of him. So generally when they are older, when the parents are older, they cannot help them out completely, so they go to homes, and they go sometimes over the weekends. They would come to their parents or to their relatives, and they would stay with them for 1 or 2 nights.
Do you think it was harder for some of the parents maybe to
It-
see them? And
Yeah, it got very hard on some of the parents, and the parents really outlived themselves for their children. They did everything they could, all the impossibles they could do, they did it.
yeah, it must be difficult.
It's very difficult at a certain age, and some of them are more difficult than others.
And can you talk about maybe how they're treated differently, let's say from Uruguay, where you're from, or from the United States?
Well, Uruguay is a much poorer country in comparison to the States, and really we don't have as much help for mentally challenged, especially over 21 years old. There are a few private places, but you really cannot count on them a lot as you do in the United States.
So most of them in Uruguay live with their families?
Most of them live with their families or in some facilities.
Mm-hmm.
If the parents have money, it's easier. If they don't have enough money, then the government must help, but the facilities are not too well run.
And in the facility in California where you worked, you said they tried to cut the funding, or they would cut the
Well,
funding?
every year for the last few years, they started cutting down on the funding, and it got more difficult to adjust all the activities we had to do. But we always got some help, or we managed somehow. The clients always had whatever they needed, and all the classes they needed.
That's
There were lots of volunteers helping out.
And you said yesterday that there was really no abuse in the place
No,
where you
no
were.
abuse at all. I never saw any abuse.
But you did kind of hear stories of.
I
the
heard
different
stories
times.
about several homes where there were abuses, or where some girls or boys were abused of, but I don't know any of them, and I don't know exactly the stories about these things. You just hear about them, but that's all. I cannot confirm any.
And if you don't want to talk about this, you don't have to. But yesterday you were talking about that guy who went to jail.
There was somebody who I was told went to jail because he said they at a home he had abused a mentally challenged girl. I don't know if that's true or if it is not. I think he had to go to jail for a while, but I don't know what happened later.
Do you think it's kind of common for them to be abused?
I really don't know.
Because you didn't. you didn't experience it when you worked.
No.
How do you think the treatment of them have changed in your lifetime?
What do you mean?
Like, or I guess you only worked with them for a certain amount of time.
Yes.
But you know, over the years, probably views on them would change, and
I think if you mean the neighborhood around us got very used to them, and they helped us out a lot, and they were not looked at as many years before. People didn't know them or didn't see as many mentally challenged people in the street. So nowadays it's very common. We went on buses, we went everywhere, and generally we had no problem at all.
you said in your
People are getting used to seeing these kind of people around them.
you said in Uruguay it's kind of recently changed
Yes, yes. A few years ago, you wouldn't even see blind people in the street by themselves. And nowadays, you see them in the buses, but people are not as open as they were before. As open, they were not as open as they are now with when they see these people in the street or on the buses or in the parks or in restaurants even.
So that's
They are getting used to this. That's what I think.
that's a good thing. We're almost done, so I won't take too much of your time.
Yeah, I'm sorry about my English. It's not perfect, but I hope you
No.
understand it.
No, it's great. I asked that question. So I guess this probably will be the last question. What is the main thing you took away from working with the mentally disabled?
Well, I learned how to handle them, how to work with them. I learned what each one of them liked and disliked, and I got used to seeing things they did which I was not used to seeing before. Some of them hit themselves against the wall. Some of them hit other people or would hit other people. So before that happened, you learn how to manage that and how to avoid that happens again. And all I got with me is that I had a wonderful time working there, and that all of them, sometimes I still write to them or visit them when I am in California, and all of them hug me. The ones who used to know me, they hug me and they are as happy as they were before. They never forget you and never forget your kindness, and however you treat them, they are always thankful for whatever you did to them.
And that kind of it made me think of what you were talking about yesterday, how two of them actually were kind of almost like boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yeah, they are.
Could you talk about that for a little?
I don't know the word. They are, well, sexually, they are as everybody, and it's more an instinct. And they said they were boyfriend and girlfriends, and sometimes they didn't behave in the classroom as they had to, but you could correct them, and after a while they would understand that in public you could not do some of the things they were doing.
They were like kissing and stuff.
They
like
were
that.
kissing and
And you said
stroking. No, how do you say that?
yeah, kind of like touching and
Yeah, touching, and they were very affectionate to
Yeah.
each other.
And did someone you said call the police because they
Well, once they saw them in the street, they were trying to kiss or something, and so no, they did not call the police, but they told me to take them in and to bring them in, because if not, somebody in the neighborhood might call the police.
Okay. Well, I think I got what I needed. That was
Okay.
that was great, Grandma Eva. That was very good. Let me.
I'm sorry, you correct everything. I'm out now.
But I need to.
No, but I mean, you are not